My mother called me a monster for what I chose to do with my child. When I was 17, my boyfriend Evan swore that pulling out was safe and laughed off the idea of protection. He told me he knew exactly what he was doing, and I believed him because I was young, scared, and desperate to be loved. When the test turned positive, my parents didn't argue or lecture me. My mother, Linda, slapped me and told me to pack my things and leave that same day. Their beliefs were rigid, and there was no room for forgiveness. I cried as I shoved my life into bags, but Evan held me close and promised his family would help us survive this together. I trusted him. Labor dragged on forever, leaving me weak and shaking. When they placed my baby girl, Grace, on my chest, my heart cracked open. I loved her instantly. I looked at Evan, waiting for him to feel it too, but his face was pale and empty. He said he was going to get milk for the baby and rushed out. I laughed weakly and told him not to disappear. He smiled nervously and ran. After an hour passed, I knew he wasn't coming back. I was discharged 2 days later with nowhere to go. I walked to Evan's house holding Grace, hoping his mom would at least hear me out. When Marcia opened the door, she stared at us like we didn't belong. I tried to explain, but she stopped me and said Evan didn't want to be a father and she supported his decision. She blocked the doorway when I asked to come inside, accused me of trapping her son, and told me to leave before she called the police. She said she hoped my baby would die and slammed the door. I went back to my parents' house next. Linda looked at Grace without a flicker of emotion. I begged to stay one night. She said apologies didn't erase sin and told me we'd burn together. Then she closed the door. Friends ignored my messages. Some blocked me entirely. My closest friend said her parents didn't want her near my situation, and I stopped reaching out. Every shelter was full. Hotlines led to waiting lists. I had no documents, no money, and no food. By nightfall, I was sitting outside a gas station with Grace screaming in my arms. I whispered apologies until my voice broke. At 4 days old, she trusted me completely, and I knew I couldn't keep her safe. Loving her meant letting her go. I kissed her forehead, told her I loved her, and brought her to the hospital to place her for adoption. A stranger let me stay with her afterward. When I finally told my mother months later, she called me a monster. I never spoke to her again.